Dear friends, good morning on Wednesday the 8th of December. Have you noticed that whenever angels appear in the Christmas story, they usually say, "Do not be afraid," or in the old translation, "Fear not." Joseph, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. Do not be afraid, Zechariah, your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son. Do not be afraid, Mary, you have found favour with God. Do not be afraid, shepherds, I bring you good news of great joy. Now, this may be because the appearance of an angel is a pretty terrifying experience. I'd be scared witless if an angel suddenly appeared with a message for me, and I suspect they don't look quite as cute as the children who will be dressed up for our nativity services on Sunday. But I think there's more to fear not than just calming people's terror at the appearance of a heavenly being. Fear not is a good summary of the Christmas story. In fact, it's the gospel in a nutshell. The reason that God became human was to deal with our fears. You probably know the old joke. How many men does it change to take a light bulb? None, because real men aren't afraid of the dark. But they are. Real men and real women are afraid of the dark, and a lot more besides. And we have more to fear than this year than in previous years. Fears about the pandemic and new variants of the virus appearing. Fears about our health, our future, our jobs, our relationships, our families, our finances, our security. And looming over all these more immediate fears is the really big fear that most people dare not contemplate, the fear of death. Well, the Christmas story helps us to deal with all these fears. First, it reminds us that God is in control of our world and therefore of our lives. He became human by making a virgin conceive, and he enabled an old age pensioner, Elizabeth, to have a son. He arranged matters so that the shepherds and the wise men would be directed to worship the infant Jesus, and so that the Holy Family would be protected from murderous King Herod. All this shows us that nothing happens in God's world by accident. He is in supreme control, even if we do not understand his ways. And that's the first reason not to fear. Secondly, the Christmas story radiates God's love to our world. The very fact that he should become human shows his love for us. Then that his son should be willing to humble himself by being laid in a manger, to become a refugee, to live a humble life, to accept misunderstanding, rejection, and ultimately death on a cross, proclaims his love. Could he have done more to show us his love? Whatever our fears, we know that he loves us. Now, when we put these two together, God's control and his love, we have an immensely powerful antidote to our fears. I'll never forget my sister-in-law's comment when we lost my brother to cancer in his mid-40s, leaving her and their 3 children. She said she was hanging on to God's sovereignty, that he is in control of this terrible situation, and to God's love, that even though we do not understand his ways, he loves us, he is with us in the darkness, and he will not abandon us, even beyond the grave. Fear not. God bless you today.